Bonjour tout le monde! Today we're going to talk about how to use object pronouns in the passé composé, and so far we've only looked at how to use them in the present tense. So the first thing to do is to figure out where the object pronouns go in terms of the sentence. In the present tense, if you remember, the object pronoun comes right before the conjugated verb. So for instance, if you want to say, I speak to him or I speak to her, you're going to replace to him or to her with the object pronoun lui, and then you're going to put it right before the conjugated verb in the sentence. So it becomes je lui parle, because parle is the conjugated verb. The one exception to this is when you have an infinitive in the present tense, and in that case, the object pronoun is going to come right before the infinitive rather than before the conjugated verb. So if you notice in this sentence, it's j'aime lui parler. Lui comes right before parler, which is the infinitive of to speak. So now that you are fairly comfortable with where object pronouns go in the present tense, let's talk about where they go in the passé composé. So in the passé composé, the object pronoun, you're going to use the exact same object pronouns we've been looking at, but you're going to put them before the auxiliary verb. If you remember, the passé composé is formed of two parts. The first part is the auxiliary verb, which is always être or avoir. The second part is the past participle. So, for example, if you want to say, I spoke to him or I spoke to her, et is the auxiliary verb because it's the conjugated form of avoir, and parler is the past participle. So you stick lui right before the conjugated form of avoir, and it becomes je lui ai parlé. Now, if you remember back to the present tense, when you want to negate something that has an object pronoun, you cannot separate the object pronoun from the verb it's attached to, whether that's the conjugated verb or the infinitive. It's the same in the passé composé. So, au négatif, it is going to become je ne lui ai pas parlé, with the ne and pas around both the auxiliary verb as well as the object pronoun. So the one final thing that you have to do when you are using the object pronouns in the passé composé is you need to check and see whether there's any agreement. And this is different from in the present tense. You only need agreement if you have a preceding direct object. That means if you have an indirect object, you're fine, you're good to go. You just stick it right before the auxiliary verb and you are done.